begin until you count the cost. For who would begin construction of a building without first calculating the cost to see if there's enough money to finish it? Otherwise, you might complete only the foundation before running out of money, and then everyone would laugh at you. They would say, "There's the person who started building and couldn't afford to finish it." Or what king would go to war against another king without first sitting down with his counselors to discuss whether his army of 10,000 could defeat the 20,000 soldiers marching against him? And if he can't, he will send a delegation to discuss terms of peace while the enemy is still far away. So you cannot become my disciple without giving up everything you own. My name is Angie Obwaka, and this is CITAM Church Online. Last week we began a two-part series looking at the topic of counting the cost. Last week we looked at the fact that God counted the cost when he gave up his son, and Jesus came and gave up his own life for our sake to be able to have a relationship with him. In this particular passage in Luke chapter 14, Jesus is talking to people who are around him, and he's calling them and inviting them to be his disciples. And he says, if anyone comes after me, he must pick up his cross and follow me. And then he says, but you need to think about what it is that you're doing. It's not something that you just jump in willy-nilly. You just find yourselves, today I'm just feeling, today I'm feeling like a disciple. Next week, I'm not really feeling like a disciple. Today I'm just feeling like I could be a distant observer or a fan. You know, Jesus is very candid, and he says, you must count the cost. You must realize that this is going to cost you, that this is going to mean that there are certain things you can't enjoy, certain things you can't walk in, certain things you cannot do because you're being called by my name. And today, this is my challenge for you. Having considered how great a price that Jesus paid for us, having considered what an incredible investment he made for our lives, would you not count the cost and be counted as one of his disciples? Not because you're meeting him more than he has met you. You know, we're taking one step, he has taken 1,000, 10,000 steps towards us. The invitation to count the cost, the invitation to lay down our lives, the invitation to be found worthy of being a disciple is not something greater than what God has already done for us. So what does it look like for you? It might be that you need to think about the associations you have. It might be that you need to think about the occupation of your time, your hobbies, the music you're enjoying and entertaining, the things that you're laughing at, the memes that you're sharing. Yeah, I know. You're inanimulika mimi pia. But you know what? It's not all gloom and doom. In this particular story, those two stories, somebody is building a house, a king is going to war. The person building the house, yes, they must count the cost. They must think about, do I have enough, whatever it is. But the reason they're counting the cost is because there's a joy at the end of it all, right? They're building a house. At the end of them counting the cost and putting in place the things that are needed, they have this house, they have this home that they can invite people, they can share with people. This king who is going to war, at the end of what it is they're engaging in, he has greater territory, he has more people, more subjects, right? We're counting the cost to be a disciple, to follow Jesus, but it is not all doom and gloom. Yes, there are things that we're giving up, but there is so much more that we are gaining from following closely after this God. And so count the cost, consider what it will cost you, but remember that at the end of the day, there is nothing that you're giving up for the kingdom. There is nothing that you are going to sacrifice that is greater than what God has already sacrificed, but that also in this same passage, Jesus says that won't be returned to you 10, 30, 100-fold. God is not a mean father, mean God in heaven. He will reward you for every cost, for every sacrifice, for every investment that you make for the kingdom of God. God bless you. Let us count the cost and let us walk this discipleship journey. It is so, so worth it. Bye-bye.